Hello, and welcome to Conscious Consumerism. So today we're just doing a little video on our...
Where we talk about our stuff. You didn't say what we talk about our stuff. Oh no! It's your catchphrase.
Okay, we're gonna do it again. Hello, and welcome to Conscious Consumerism, where we're thinking about our stuff. Today we're just checking in to do a little financial video because thinking about your stuff can't be totally separate from finances, right? Anyway, so we have some financial goals. That is partly our motivation for our low buy, no buy, whatever we're trying to do there. More, you'll see that. You've seen some of that. We're still doing that. But anyway, so to talk about our why behind that, or at least part of our why behind that, would be our financial goals. So we do kind of follow the Dave Ramsey plan that you might be familiar with if you're on the internet.
Alexa is with us to start off this hour in Houston, Texas. Alexa, how are you?
I'm just fine, and you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I got too much money in my checking and savings account.
And have ever looked at any money or financial advice. And the main part of that plan that we follow is the getting out of debt part, because we do have some debt. We still currently, as of filming day, have some debt on our car because somebody decided that we needed a new car.
Well, whatever.
You don't want to tell us?
Well, at the time, she needed a car, and I thought it would be nice for her to have a brand new car. She had just gotten a job, of her first real job out of graduate school. And so she found one I liked a lot, and so she got it.
Well, and also he would be driving it a lot because I might have just wrecked his other car.
Yeah,
it was not my fault.
I had a nice car.
And maybe we can put a picture of that crash somewhere so
Yeah.
we can see that it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, we're not the only ones who've ever bought a new car, and
No.
we won't be the last ones, but
But that will be probably our last new car, unless we're just rolling in it. But if we
Yeah,
are
well,
rolling in it,
unless
then,
we can pay cash,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
where we're going with that. But so we still have, I believe it's about $13,000 of debt on that car. Just full transparency here.
Yeah.
We recently paid off my student loans. So December 2020, we're student loan free.
Yeah.
He didn't have any because he did the Army first and got schooled that way. And I just had some modest student loans, which were partly to pay for my viola, actually, because I was really fortunate to receive scholarships to cover most of tuition and worked through my school days to cover living expenses and the rest of tuition and health insurance that was not covered. So that's where we're at financially. It'd be great to be completely debt-free. We don't agree with some aspects of the Dave Ramsey plan, though. And, to those points, investing is something that we did not put off because of the debt snowball, as he calls it. So, the debt snowball is where you tackle debts from smallest to largest. You pause all other expenses as much as you can, including retirements and investments and saving for anything beyond your $1,000 emergency fund, the starter emergency fund.
We didn't do that because so much of investing is time dependent, and we felt like if you stop your investments, you lose that time, and it will cost you. There's no question. It will cost you more in the long run to stop investing and pay off debt. And I understand the psychological reason behind the Ramsey plan of getting the debt gone first and not investing anything. But in our case, we are getting rid of the debt as fast as we would have anyway, really. So I think
it's also important for us to build the muscle of saving into our retirement accounts as well. And so we didn't want to put that part of the equation off. And also the other reason that's more specific to our situation is we aren't in our jobs that are going to be our forever jobs. So I'm a teacher this year, so I do receive a salary, but honestly, that was not my planned career path, and I don't necessarily foresee it being my permanent career path. And before that, I mean, I did also have a salary because I worked for the Houston Symphony, but before that, I was a freelance musician. And honestly, that's probably what our lives are going to look like going forward if I'm ever not a teacher. So, we just kind of want to prepare for the possibility of fluctuating incomes and not being able to contribute to retirements in certain times of our lives if we don't have, stable salaried jobs.
Yeah.
So for freelancers, put it in there when you can.
Yeah.
And, take advantage of the time compounding of interest.
Mm-hmm. The other part of the Ramsey plan that we kind of disagree with, and I took a little longer to come around on this, is that you're not supposed to use credit at all. I mean, he preaches, if you have 0 credit score, that's perfect. And in our case, we found that we are using a credit card to pay for things that we would have normally paid for anyway. Groceries, bills when they'll take a credit card, travel.
Yeah, without additional fees for the bills.
And we're using the credit card like it's a debit card, so to speak. The money's in the bank before we will spend it on the credit card. And we pay off the credit card and we do receive rewards on that money or on what we spend. Like I said, we're only spending it on things we were going to buy anyway that we already have the cash for, just to get the extra bonus miles or whatever it is
and
off
the
of that.
security.
And then in conjunction with that, the extra or the added layer of security, insulation, so to speak, between our bank account and the vendor that we're buying from, so to speak.
Yeah, in our experience, it's a lot easier to dispute through the credit card company than it would be when the money's already out of your bank account. It's got to be refunded, it takes longer, and you just don't have that company advocating for you because it's not, you don't consume the credit card product. So the last Dave Ramsey principle that we don't agree with is the starter emergency fund of $1,000. So part of this is probably because, again, we're kind of used to the freelance style of operating where your income is not totally fixed. Even with my salary, it's not totally fixed because he makes a varying amount of income per month depending on, what photography projects he might have or the lessons, how many students cancel or things like that. So we already deal with variance of income. And in case, the world explodes even more and that goes down even further, more than $1,000 is necessary as our starter emergency fund for some insulation. So we do have more than $1,000. Part of that is because we actually were saving up to do our wedding and to pay cash for that.
Thank you, 2020.
And that didn't happen. So we are already married. And, by the time we actually have a wedding ceremony, we'll have been married for a couple of years. And our daughter will probably be walking in Flower Girl. And that'll be cute. But, right now we just have that sitting in the bank as our more than starter emergency fund. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. So there is one aspect of the Ramsey plan that we completely agree with, and that is budgeting. Just knowing where every dollar you have goes. And for that, we do use the free version of the Dave Ramsey's Every Dollar app. I will admit that I don't really take care of that. That is all Alexa. She is the pro at it. And I trust her completely and don't really worry about it. I am perfectly happy to ride in the back seat and let her drive the car and tell me when I cannot spend $1.
I mean, we talk about it.
We do talk about it, yeah.
But I would say I'm more of the saver.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't buy a lot of things, but
when I do, I buy expensive things,
Right.
So.
And so, that's okay, especially when we agree on those things, but we do need to have them in our budget. And the free version of Every Dollar is great because you have to manually enter in all the transactions. And I believe that feature is not in the premium version because it links with your bank. And so actually the manual entering is great because one, it makes you think twice about, do I need to be buying single, when you go to the grocery store, you want to get it all done. So you're not going every day of the week and having to put a little small transaction in your grocery tab. But also, it means that he has to tell me every time he buys something because I have to manually enter it, and it's not just connected to one of our bank cards and just shows up. So yeah, that's another reason that we like his app better than ones like Mint that exist and also link with your bank and give you all that information.
It's an added layer of accountability.
Yeah, so we do agree with the every dollar budgeting. And I mean, the other part of that is that every dollar is literally accounted for. So it's zero-based budgeting, I think it's called, where, whenever you make something, you add it to your incoming, and then you have to put it in a category, even if it's savings, or, there is a miscellaneous category too, but you have to allocate it. So that's really nice as well. Mm-hmm. So we like the Dave Ramsey budgeting. We like the idea of the debt snowball, even if we aren't totally following it and we aren't, gazelle intense.
Well, I think we're following the debt snowball. We're just not doing the peripheral things.
The rules that
the
that
rules
go along
like
with it.
Get no credit cards. We have one credit card, or
I mean the order
no investments.
The order of his operations is generally good, except for the investing thing, in our opinion.
Yeah.
So
and again, Dave, if you ever see this, we understand the psychological reasons why you would do that.
Yeah, and it obviously works for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we're just saying that we're special snowflakes.
Tender little precious snowflakes.
Yeah.
It's a great listen if you're at the beginning of your financial journey and need some accountability. And it's, it's a free podcast. Again, thank you, Dave Ramsey, for the content.
Hey, we didn't talk about numbers. I guess we should give them some kind of idea of where we were and where we are, right?
Sure.
Okay. Very, very generally, 3 years ago, we started with about $80,000 worth of debt. Mm-hmm. And now we are at...
So we're at around 13,000. So we've still got a little ways to go, but we've come a long ways. Mm-hmm. And we won't go into all the details of all of the debts, but, probably most of them were incurred before we met each other.
Yeah.
And we were, we're managing it now, and we're almost done, hopefully. And hopefully you're on your way too in your own financial journey. So thanks for stopping by for our little financial chat. So finances are a big part of conscious consumerism, and that's one of our reasons why we are trying to eliminate buying needless things. Just one of the many reasons, but definitely a big reason. So if you're also working on your financial well-being, come and join us if you feel like it. We're somewhere in the middle of our journey as well, so feel free to ask any questions you might have or make any comments. Please don't be too mean or you'll get him responding back to you.
No, you don't want that.
But yeah, we are going to keep on going. Hopefully get out of debt later this year, if all goes well. And we will keep you posted. So hopefully in another 6 months, we'll be debt free. Or, 6 to 8 months or whatever our plan is going to entail.
Depends on what kind of money goes into the cup.